Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for another edition of NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005, a doubleheader Monday night of action coming for you guys today with our first race taking place under the lights at the Darlington Raceway for the Darlington 200. Second race will be at Dover for the MBNA of America 200 as well. And thanks for all you guys joining in the chat down below early on this Monday night. This is an earlier start time of the two. Of course, our second race will take place right after this one at about 7:30 approximately Eastern Standard Time, and that will be on a separate stream from this one, so you'll have to make sure you keep that bell notification button open. But again, it will be approximately 7:30, assuming that this race gets done before then, which it should because it's only 200 miles. Again, like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we are about to get into this next full race live stream with a realistic commentary. As always, Elliot is crazy, Ashton G, Patrick Shatterley, Cerebral Assassin, many others. Welcome to the stream. And without further ado, let's get this thing kicked off at one of the best tracks in NASCAR. For the first time all season, Bobby Hamilton Sr. will be starting from the pole. He's got a 3-race win streak coming into the day. Green flag is in the air for race 1 of the doubleheader. And the only other winner this season, Casey Cook at Daytona, qualified on the outside of the front row in second. But he did not take off well on the initial start. Looks like he's going to lose a couple positions. He's back to 4th place already into turn 3 and still stuck on the high side. And lap 1 will be led by pole setter Bobby Hamilton Sr., who's going on a rampage after an 18th place finish in the opening race of the year at Daytona. Backed it up with 3 consecutive wins now as we head into race number 5. The easiest of the 3 wins probably came last night as far as margin of victory at the California Speedway for Hamilton. He had a last lap pass for the win on Bill Lester at Atlanta the race before that, and then held off a hungry couple of truck drivers of Carl Edwards and Matt Craftsman on a green-white checker restart following a late yellow at Watkins Glen in the second race. Don't forget he was in second coming out of the final turn on the final lap at Daytona. Didn't really have a shot to win that race. He didn't have enough of a run, and Casey Cook was too far out ahead of him, but he got involved in the big one, which relegated him to that 18th place finish. So he very well could have second or better in the first 4 races this season if it wasn't for those final couple hundred feet at Daytona. We've had a lot of cautions in races this season as we head to 2 very tough and demanding racetracks today at Darlington and Dover. I would have to imagine we're probably going to see more of the same. So far, clean through the first 4 completed laps. 200 miles, 147 laps in race 1, 200 miles, 200 laps in race 2. Hamilton keeping himself with a pretty nice pace in the early going. Not sure if this is going to be a 1 or a 2-stop race today. It's been a long time since we ran the truck series in this game, so I can't really remember most of the racetracks as far as what the fuel window looks like. There are a couple tracks we're racing at for the first time on this custom schedule season, like Watkins Glen in race number 2. This is one that we actually ran at twice, if I remember correctly, in the truck series. At least twice. Or at least once, but maybe twice. Brendan Harrison, welcome to the stream. 2005 season. Well, this technically is the 2004 video game or season because it was the first year with the chase. And then also the schedule for the Cup Series is that same 2004 schedule. Same for the Busch and the trucks, excluding the fantasy tracks they have mixed in with the Busch and the truck series, and excluding the Pocono races for the Cup Series because Pocono was not licensed for this game. So there's 2 less races on that schedule. But this is custom schedule season, so very few races actually fall into the same place as what they actually did in 2004. Obviously Daytona to start the season. And I think actually Atlanta is the 3rd race of the year was normal. If I know Darlington was towards the beginning of the year here. Maybe it did fall as race 5. The rest are pretty much coincidental, if excluding Daytona at least. Spotted 2021 Jimmy Johnson IndyCar diecast. Yeah, I saw a couple of those when I was at Indianapolis for the Verizon 200. I'm still going to call it the Brickyard 400. The Brickyard 400 / IndyCar weekend. IndyCar and Xfinity Series race Saturday, and the Cup race was on Sunday. And, they had a bunch of IndyCar diecasts, and that was one of them I thought about getting just because of being a big NASCAR fan, but I didn't do it. Maybe I'll pick one up if I go to the Indy 500 this year. Joshua Rumsey, welcome into the chat. Hamilton's already got a 1.2 second lead off of turn 4. Only 10 laps into the race. Boy, got a little loose off turn 4 that time. Goes to show it doesn't take much to knock the truck out of control. Did not practice for this race, but it did qualify. A couple of countdown videos coming up on the channel this week for a fair warning, part of our end of year 2021 addition to the channel. So again, hit that notification bell. If you haven't already, you won't want to miss any of the uploads during the course of this week on top of these live streams. And I will have the weekly streaming schedule up on the channel at the end of the night as well. I'll have Monday on there, even though Monday will have already been concluded, but that will be up on the channel in the community tab tonight as well. 9 people watching, only 3 likes. Definitely smash that like button, and again, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. What I got was only $12. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. For a 124 scale? That's a steal. Made it look like 2005 without Rockingham. Gotcha. Hey, there's nothing bad about the Rock. It was a pretty good racetrack. I mean, they had a photo finish in the actual 2004 season race there. The final ever race at Rockingham for the Cup Series, at least. Pretty good finish, pretty good race. 164. I was going to say, that'd be a steal. It was a 124. That seems kind of expensive for a 164. Is that what they're actually selling for nowadays? I haven't bought a 164 scale diecast in a couple of years. I haven't gone into like Walmart and looked at them recently either. So I don't know what they would even sell vinyl diecast for 164 scale. Half the time I don't even see any on the shelf anymore. But there's still a spot for them. They just never seem to have any on stock. I got like 3 Walmarts within 20 minutes of me in a couple different cardinal directions, but they all seem to always be out. Hopefully that means people are actually buying them and not that they're just failing to restock their shelves. Hopefully that's the case. I'd be alright with that. I don't know if it'd be real for $12. I mean, I've gotten some 124 die casts. I think the cheapest one I ever bought was $20 when I was at Bristol. And I can't remember which one of the ones was $20. I'm thinking it was the Jimmy Johnson Pride of America car. I think that one was $20. And I don't know why it was so cheap. I mean, that was my favorite Jimmy Johnson scheme of all time. I'm like, deal, I'll take it. And then the other 2 I got that same day. I think it was $30 for the, and they were both in the same tin, but it was $30. Well, the 2 Harvick cars I got were in the same tin. The Jimmy Johnson one I got was in a different tin. But I got that one for $20. I think I got the Ryan Newman Alltel car for $20 too, if I'm not mistaken. That was at Martinsville when I got that though. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I got that for $12. That was 2002, so that was his rookie car. Jimmy Johnson one was from '03. He actually won the Coke 600 in that car. So it was the race win diecast. If you ever go to a NASCAR race, you got to check out those tents. For the longest time, I didn't do it. I regretted it because otherwise I'd probably have a lot more older diecasts than what I would have. Right now, I only got a handful of them, of the 124 scale at least. I mean, I got a lot of 164 scale, but the 124 scale, I would have a lot more. I'm going to be honest, I have not watched Cars 3. I have only seen parts of Cars 2, and I saw all of the original movie. I guess that's all I really needed to see. I've heard some mixed reactions about 2 and 3. I'm like, okay, maybe it's okay that I haven't seen them. I mean, I watched the original Cars movie when it came out in theaters. I can remember my dad taking me when I was a little kid. I don't know what year did that movie come out. Was it like 05, 06? Somewhere around there. I would have been probably anywhere between like 6 to 8 years old, depending on what year exactly it came out. I definitely remember seeing that in theaters. I've watched it a couple times since. The other two I have not seen. First one's the only good one. That's what I hear most people say. I feel like it's like that with most movies. It's hard to top the original. The only reason they make sequels to is because the original was so good. Majority of the time. It seems like that with that, like practically every movie. 06, gotcha. But just the intro to that movie alone gets you hyped. Especially in theaters when I came out, that intro, the surround sound in that place, that was pretty cool. It almost felt like you were at an actual racetrack. Especially at that point in time, I'd never gone to a NASCAR race before. I didn't go to my first race until I was 16 years old. It was the first time I ever went to a NASCAR race. Right around my 16th birthday, my grandpa took me in. Then it was like 2 years later before 3 years later until I went to my next race, and been going to a bunch of races a year ever since. I wish I could have done it when I was younger. If I would have done it when I was younger, I probably wouldn't go to as many races as I do now, but I'm trying to kind of make up for the lost childhood of not going or not being able to go. You were 2006. Yeah, I would have been 7 years old then. I was born in '99. Well, I guess it would have depended on what part of the year it would have came out. I have watched Herbie Fully Loaded. Yes, it has been a long time since I've seen that movie. I think I saw it on Disney Channel for the first time I ever watched it when I was younger. But Cars is the only racing movie I've actually seen in theaters. I'm not a big movie person, but I have seen a lot of racing / NASCAR movies. For obvious reasons. I'm a big NASCAR fan. June something. That would make sense. I think it was in the summertime. Because I felt like we went up to the movie theater middle of the week. I don't know if my dad had off of work. Maybe he scheduled like the Monday after, or Monday or Friday before Father's Day or something. I felt like it was middle of the week. Just got in the wall that time in 3 and 4. So far, Hamilton has not earned his first Darlington stripe. We're 30 laps in. Hasn't quite hit halfway on fuel yet as well. And we'll just have to see if this will be a 1 or a 2-stop race. And he has shellacked the field so far. He's got a 2.1 second lead. It grew pretty quickly to about a 1.2 second lead in just 10 laps. His pace has fallen off a bit. Either that or just the pace of the second place truck has picked up, whoever it may be. Yeah, I've seen Talladega Nights a couple times. I'm pretty sure we got that on DVD. I know I've got Cars on DVD also. Somewhere. Probably somewhere in the basement. I've seen Days of Thunder a couple times. I've seen Stroke Your Ace once. That's probably one I gotta watch again because I only remember bits and pieces of it. I've seen the Senna documentary on ESPN that came whatever year that came out. I thought it was right around 2010 or somewhere around there, early 2010s. I've seen Dale. Um, what other? There, I can't remember the name of it, and you guys might not know. It was kind of like it was a cheesy movie. Like looking back on it, it was an extremely cheesy movie, and I even knew that when I was younger when I watched it. There's another movie from like late 2000s, early 2010s era. It was about this go kart racer, and he was like probably 15, 16 years old, or at least the main character was that old. I don't know, the actor is probably older, but I remember the movie because the kid looked like Joey Logano, and I know it was right around when Logano was really young in the Cup Series too. I was like, this guy looks like Joey Logano. I couldn't remember the name of the movie for the life of me. It was the cheesiest low budget go kart film movie. I'd have to look it up sometime. You know when there's like a love angle in like a movie that involves a teenager and then it has to do with like racing or racing go karts. You'd have to you could I mean that plot alone right there. Those are the only details you need to know of how cheesy the movie was. But I just remember the main character looking like Joey Logano. Maybe it was Joey Logano. I no, it wasn't. I'm kidding. Joey Logano, as far as I know, has not been featured as a main character for a role in a movie. But he has a doppelganger, though. That last lap for Hamilton was his fastest lap of the race, 27.729, stretching the lead out to 2.8 seconds and growing. Qualifying could have been shaken up a little bit. Maybe some of the faster cars in racetrack qualified further back. Bobby Hamilton has led every lap so far in this race because of qualifying on the pole. Trying to put together a 4-race winning streak. Again, this is the first race of 2 tonight. Our second race will be at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Joey Logano's birthday's on International. What day is International Day? I have no clue what day that is. I don't even know if I can tell you the month it's in. Rush was a great movie too. I don't know if I've seen that one. Is there any actors in it that I should probably know of? Maybe I've seen it. Logano just so happens to be your favorite driver. Well, there you go. Well, now you know he's got a doppelganger. It's a clown because his birthday's on International Clown. Oh, International Clown Day. Is that true? We need to fact check that. That'd be hilarious if it was, though. He's kind of got that like geeky laugh, but when he smirks, I could see if he had his face painted, he may look like a clown. It'd be pretty scary too. I don't know if I want to see that. Just like the image that popped in my brain of it, I could just see like that little like red like ball on his nose. I can't get that image out of my head now. I shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have thought about that. Chris Hemsworth. Oh, okay. I've heard of the movie then. I've heard of it. I haven't seen it though. I think I know what you're talking about now. I think I've seen the trailer for it. When it came out, at least. I remember seeing commercials and trailers for it. It's not true. Oh, okay. Clown Day is August 1st, and that's not Joey Logano's birthday. International Clown. August 1 through 7th is International Clown Week. I'll tell you what, we have gone way off the deep end in the chat already, and we're only the first half of race 1. I'm surprised I still haven't hit the wall yet. Did I miss Stan Lee? Who's Stan Lee? Is he one of the fantasy drivers in this game I don't know about yet? His birthday's in May. Is his birthday on I shouldn't say this. It would have been hilarious, but I think I'm going to backtrack my statement. I caught myself there. It wouldn't have been that bad, but I try to stay on topic with this race. Stan Lee make career. I'm not a big car guy, so I don't know. Created Marvel. I'm not a big movie person though either. Made Camaros. Created Marvel. No, I have no clue. I didn't know that was the guy's name. No clue. I'm not a big Marvel or jeez. What's the other comic? DC? I'm not a big comic guy. Comic book guy. I've seen some of the movies, but none of them in recent years. I can tell you that much. A lot of those movies were older ones that I've seen. Yeah, I'm not a big movie person. There's a lot of movies that you guys have probably seen that have come out within the last 10 years that I guarantee you I probably have not seen. I don't know whose phone number that is, but we need to hide that. I don't want to know. Can you put phone numbers down in the chat? Lap 50 this time by for Bobby Hamilton Sr. 98 laps to go at Darlington. This is going to be a one-stop race as far as scheduled pit stops go. Still caution-free up to this point as well. We've not had a caution-free race in the early going of the season. We've had 2 or more cautions in all but one race. The only race we saw just one yellow was at Atlanta, and it was at about the halfway mark. Fear NASCAR is going to shrink the field to only charter teams. They may do that. They would have to wait for the charter agreement to come to an end first. So I think they have to give those non-charter teams an opportunity now because they weren't able to get in on the charters beforehand. See, the problem is there is room to grow for somewhat competitive teams that don't have a charter. Should just abolish the charter system as a whole. I don't know if NASCAR is going to do that. The charters are selling for so much now. If they just abolished it as soon as that charter agreement comes to an end, then it's going to be a waste of money for all those teams. I mean, I don't know where that money would go, though, because if they had to abandon their charters, who would they have to sell them to or lease them to? Would they just give them back to NASCAR, and NASCAR would have to buy them out? Then NASCAR's putting them whole, so and they kind of dug themselves into that grave. As badly as I would want to see charters go, I don't know how they could go without putting these owners in debt as far as just wasted cash on a charter. Hamilton kind of diamonding off turns 1 and 2, got a bit loose off the exit of turn 2. Still pushing pretty hard at this point in the run. His tires are definitely allowing him to start to skirt all over the racetrack. There's his first Darlington stripe of the race off the exit of turn 4 as he scrapes the outside wall. Right off the exit of the corner where he got into the wall that time. Still hasn't hit the wall in turns 1 and 2 yet. A numbered text is from Empire Today. Yeah, I didn't know what it was. I don't even know what Empire Today is, to be completely honest. Is that something else I should probably know? Does that have to do with comics? Probably doesn't. I probably just look like an idiot for saying that. You almost punched Ronald McDonald in his face. He snuck up from behind. You got snuck up on from behind. It's man, those clowns. Now watch out for those clowns. They can be creepy, even the friendly ones. Unless they allow for 40 charters, or like Michael's saying, 43 charters. At least it allows the teams that don't have one right now to be able to get one if they can afford it. That would probably be the best compromise. But they need more than 36, in my personal opinion. Because if you have a 36-car field in the Cup Series, you're going to have to downsize the Xfinity and Truck. Well, maybe not the Truck Series. Probably keep the trucks at 32, which is what it was a couple of years ago. They only had it for 36 last year because of how many entries there were. There was no qualifying or practice. Now that qualifying's back, I think they're limiting the truck field back down to 32 again. But what the Xfinity field, you're probably going to have below 36 then. Because I think it's at 36 right now. I mean, they could keep it at 30. I guess they did have 43 for both the Busch and the Cup Series back in the day, so maybe they would keep it at 36. I don't play with guns, man. They don't really freak me out. I don't really get scared at anything. Maybe it's because I don't watch a lot of movies, therefore I haven't watched a lot of horror movies either. I've tried to watch a couple of them. I just think it's half the time I think it just looks stupid. I make fun of it. I try to make a comedy out of it, even though it's not a comedy half the time. I think of horror movie. I think of that Geico commercial when they let's hide behind the chainsaws. That's my stereotypical horror movie. Right front tire's into the red right now for Bobby Hamilton. Again, he's been pushing hard this entire run. Hopefully that right front's going to be able to make it all the way to the end of this fuel run. Or at least make it to the halfway point so he can make it a one pit stop race. On fuel, it's scheduled to be a one stop race, but this Darlington surface is pretty old, similar to today's surface. Works as a cheese grater on these race tires. Do I like Star Wars? I have never seen a Star Wars movie from start to finish. Or Star Trek, for that matter. I have not seen one from start to finish. It might hurt not my mom, my dad and my grandpa's soul for saying that, because they're big fans. But they never got me into it, though, either, which is weird. As big of fans as they claim they are, or that they enjoyed the movies as much, they never, like, sat me down and, you need to watch this. Like, they never did that. So, I just never went out of my way. Aren't those movies really long, too? I just don't feel like taking 3 to 4 hours out of my day to watch a movie. The only movie that is really long that I can think of that I watched and thoroughly enjoyed was Day After Tomorrow. I think that movie was like 3.5 hours. I guess Titanic would be up there too, but those would be the exceptions, I feel like, to that rule. Any movie that's longer than 2.5 hours, that can get a little overkill. Had another truck just blow an engine and make his way into the pits that last lap. It looked like the 38 of Brandon Witt. He's the second driver to retire from this race for an engine failing. Well, they're kind of having knockout qualifying next year. So you'll be seeing it. Some fans don't like it. I personally don't really care. It does make it more difficult to run the fastest lap twice for somebody that, say, qualified first in round one and then can't do it again in the second trial. The main thing I don't like about it is you could set a track record, and I'm pretty sure this has happened before, where you could set a track record by running a fast lap in the first round, but you can't get the engine cooled down quick enough. So by the time you go back out your second time and you're using the same tires, that your lap time is likely not going to be as fast. So you run into an issue where, say, for instance, Kevin Harvick sets the track record, but he qualifies fourth. And that's the only thing I don't like about it. So I think there are some track records out there that ran into that issue, which most people didn't look at it as an issue, but that's the only thing I don't like about it. Like, the guy just set the track record. What more could you do, and you still don't get the pole? It doesn't make any sense. First lap cars that Bobby Hamilton's going to catch in this race today. Lap 71 at the start-finish line. He's got the 107, the 119 to keep Grimsley nearly 3 wide into turn 1. Wesley Schmidt in the 117. A lot of trucks have been pitting here over the last couple laps. I think it's because the window for these tires and fuel is open to the end of the race, but Hamilton wants to make sure he can make it halfway just in case. It would also put pressure on him to have to run more laps on the next run if it does stay green on these tires. 1/8 of a tank of fuel left. We're almost halfway home. He's led every lap so far. We are still caution-free, so he is about to clinch the most laps led in a few laps. We had a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops at California last night. The second caution of the race is what trapped all but just 12 trucks a lap down because of the timing of that yellow. And everybody that has pitted already is gaining time on Bobby Hamilton, so he's going to have a quick stop. The last time he was on pit road for that second stop of the day yesterday in California, it was a slow stop under the caution. It cost him 10 spots, and the rear tire changer had problems getting the right rear lug nuts in tightly on that race truck. Titanic 2 is set to sail in person soon. I wouldn't want to be on a ship named the Titanic, knowing the history of the first one. What do they say? History repeats itself? That's just being... That's me being skeptical. I mean, obviously, it all could go well. I'm sure it's not the same person that was captaining the boat over 100 years ago as the one that is in charge of anything that has to do with this Titanic. Next race tonight will be at Dover. There's Brandon Witt coming out of the pits. I thought he was one of the trucks that had blown an engine earlier, and I wonder if he's just working his way back onto the track, and Hamilton's going to get in the wall again in turns 3 and 4. It's the second time he's gotten into the wall there. He got tight when he pulled up in line behind the 38 of Witt. We are just past halfway. Hamilton has clinched the most laps led here tonight. Second straight race he's led the most laps in. Dominating race today, he could actually have the lead for the most laps led this season over Bill Lester. Came in just over 60 laps behind him in laps led. And Hamilton's led every lap so far. Extremely low on fuel. Still a little worried perhaps about that right front tire. I don't think he wants to take it too much further just in case. And he could probably only go a few more laps on fuel anyway. Hamilton staying out another lap. It was lap 40 when he hit halfway on fuel, so he may be able to make it one more lap after this. That'd be risking it maybe a little too much again, especially on the right front, considering he has gotten into the wall twice. There's less laps he has to run to the end of the race on the next set of tires. Whether we have a caution and they pit, or he stays green, or it stays green. But he will stay out one more. A little tight with his entry into turn 3, lap 80. Hamilton pushing it. One more lap on fuel. Second place just hit pit road that last lap, or at least one of the last other trucks that were still on the track. It looked like Aaron McGee brushes the wall off the exit in turn 2. He was the truck in line behind Hamilton. Hamilton slides into turn 3, both left front tires now with a red as he tries to get the truck to slow down into the pits. 70 miles per hour pit road speed limit at every track in this game. 4 tires of fuel for Bobby Hamilton. He will stretch it no longer. 80 laps on that opening set of fuel and tires. Jeff Gorvette. Billy would be walking the plank. Intentionally. On the Titanic 2. Again, no adjustments for Hamilton on this opening stop. Clean stop for the 14, picking up better than where they left off at California last night. Hamilton still led every lap so far as he's trying to get up to speed. I would have to assume his lead is not going to be as big as what it was, considering he was on old tires for a little while. He had nearly a 6-second lead. It looks like it's going to be down to just over 4 seconds by the time he's going to get up to speed. About 4.1, maybe 4.0 second lead. So he lost a couple seconds there, but he still got the race lead. He still led every lap, and we are still caution-free all the way cycled now through the first and only set of pit stops tonight. If we see another caution, we'll have to see if we end up getting a stop. Do I like Lewis Hamilton? I don't really watch F1 too much, so I can't really say it. There's a F1 driver out there that I admire the racing talent or not. I think the talent of Lewis Hamilton is undeniable. I know Mercedes is the top team in F1. Manufacturers seem to matter more at Formula One versus what they do as the drivers. It's really strange. As somebody that doesn't really watch F1, it's kind of hard to concept because in America, it feels like in motorsports you want the drivers to be in more control of the cars, and Formula One claims to have 20 of the best drivers in the world, but yet on a given basis, only 4 or 5 guys are lucky to win a race in a season, and the same one or two dominate the entire year because of manufacturer and team alike. So it's really weird the contrast between Formula One to any motorsport in America, really. Top motorsport in America, at least. Eight laps on fuel tire. Yeah, that right. Both the front tires were in the red. The right front was in the red for about 17 laps there. I think it was lap 63 where it ended up getting there at first. So we definitely pushed the limit. Hey, maybe he's a fan of Cars 3. Hamilton only 3/1000ths of a second slower than his fastest lap of the race that last lap. These fresh tires paying off big, especially with the rubber laid down on the racetrack now. Clean race so far. Will we see our first caution-free race of the season in our first race of the doubleheader tonight? Comment in the chat down below if you think there will be a caution or not, as we have 60 laps to go that time by at the start-finish line. Still plenty of time for there to be that yellow. Hamilton's got through the lap traffic pretty well up to this point. Obviously, again, had that quick stop. He just ran his fastest lap of the race that last time by, 27.711. It's unbelievable. Back into the 27.729. Tied for his second fastest lap of the race. Billy Wilson, the 82 truck, really pinching Hamilton down. Hamilton drives it deep and flat into turn 3. And he'll clear Wilson off the exit of turn 4. Clean pass. Hamilton's only brushed the wall twice today. Both times were in turns 3 and 4. Once off the exit, once on entry. And he has not hit the wall the entire way so far in turns 1 or 2. Caution could make things interesting. Indeed. So I have no clue who's running second place right now. It may be somebody different compared to who qualified towards the front. So if given track position and no lap traffic, well, that's the problem, though. There will be lap trucks on the inside on the restart, which could cost Hamilton on the restart as well. The last 2 racetracks we were at Atlanta and California, Hamilton struggled on the restarts. I wonder if that might be the case for the Ford team on intermediates this season. This is an intermediate racetrack. It kind of races like a short track. It's very narrow, so maybe he'll get away with having perhaps a better restart. The initial start of the race was pretty good for Hamilton in the preferred lane, but he would have to be on the outside with the lap cars to the bottom unless that restart would come with 10 or less laps to go. Then all the lap trucks would have to restart behind the lead lap trucks. Darlington wears out tires quick. Yes, it does. Even when they repave this place, this is probably the only track when it's repaved that you still see a decent amount of tire fall off. But 2004, it was a pretty bumpy surface. It's a really bumpy surface now. So much so where they actually had to repave the middle to exit of turn 2 due to the track wanting to fall apart. Not sure who to root for in trucks. Yeah, I don't have that favorite driver in the truck or the Xfinity series. I've gotten asked that question before. I just root for Ryan Blaney. I mean, there's some fun drivers to watch. I think just watching Ty Gibbs, win races at such a young age is really fun to watch in the Xfinity series. His driving style can be a little over the edge for my taste sometimes. I really like the cleaner drivers on a typical basis. So a guy like Daniel Hemrick, honestly, is somebody I really like. And they say that good guys never win. Well, he didn't win for the longest time, and he was aggressive the one time in his entire career, and it won him a championship. And you just got to find that right time to do it. When it's maybe going to matter the most, and the consequences are not going to be as great in the backfire because it was the last race of the season, and it's not like he wrecked Cindric either. And I did see your guys' predictions. It seemed like most of you think that there is going to be a caution, but I did see at least one no on there being a caution, or at least a no caution in this race. So see off the exit of turn 2, there are a lot of trucks that are running almost in a pack. Mostly single file, but they are nose to tail. At least a dozen of them, if not more. And all it's going to take is one of those trucks to slip up, and we could see a yellow. Got 50 laps to go at the line, and still plenty of time. Probably got a little less than 25 minutes left in this race. I'll tell you what, with this quick race pace, we're definitely going to get to that second race of the night by 7:30. I do remember Daryl Cartrip in the very first Cars movie. Joshua also said no on the caution. We've seen a lot of late yellows this year too, so that would also be fitting given the custom schedule season thus far through 4 completed races. Favorite driver in the Xfinity Series is Brandon Brown, and followed his career from the beginning. Yeah, that's definitely a good driver to get behind. Any of the kind of family-owned race teams, Ryan Sieg as well would probably be another one that's you always like to see those guys try to break through. Jeremy Clements. I really like AJ Allmendinger's passion though too. I could get behind somebody that wears his heart on his sleeve like he does. Pretty funny dude in contrast to it too. So I could get behind a guy like AJ. I remember rooting for Sam Gornish when he drove full time in the Xfinity Series there for a little while in the early 2010s because he's from not too far away from where I live in Ohio. Of course, he won an Indy 500 as well. So as far as racers from the state of Ohio, that alone gives him a pretty impressive resume. 3 wide at Darlington all the way through turns 1 and 2. Hamilton trying to get around these lap trucks as quick as he can. Get himself out of harm's way. And that was risky, but he was able to pull it off. And it looks like Hamilton takes it 3 wide in the middle of 3 and 4 also. Oh, contact! The 192 and Doug Thompson. It's Chris Sweeney and Doug Thompson getting together off turn 4. Sweeney did a great job keeping it off the wall. Couldn't tell if Thompson got squeezed into it or not. Hamilton luckily was able to clear them both off the exit of the corner. Or that was just them being 3 wide. Now we got a truck bailing going into turn 3 as he has blown an engine not too far in front of the leader, and he's going to miss the pit lane this time as well. Still blowing smoke, still running pretty fast. It's insane how fast he's going for how long with a bunch of smoke pouring out of the back of his race truck. We'll see if he'll get to the pits. Sean Batson in the 137 contact. He gets squeezed into the wall now by Hamilton. And that's Bill Lester in the 22. Some problems for one of the championship contenders early in the season. Bill Lester has blown an engine at Darlington. He's had such a great start to the season. Hasn't had great finishes in every race, but he's led a lot of laps. We mentioned coming into this race, he's led the most laps so far this season. And a tough break for Bill Lester, as he'll have to retire from this race, and he'll be relegated to, it looks like, a 34th place finish. We only got 2 drivers out of the race before him, but we do stay green. I do know Paul Newman, yes. Well, I don't know him personally, but I know of Paul Newman. The only famous person I've ever gotten to talk to in person was Mick Foley, professional wrestling. And then, well, I guess Rutledge would too, but that was like a very brief hi and bye. But hey, Rutledge, and he said, "Hey, how's it going?" And that's pretty much what I did. But yeah, that's like all I've ever had any sort of conversation with celebrity-wise. I don't even know if you could consider Rutledge Wood a celebrity. He's a celebrity in the NASCAR media world. I think that counts, considering I'm a NASCAR fan. I was at Chicagoland in 2019. My sister was with me, and she had no clue who he was, so I was like, "Oh yeah, it's Rutledge Wood." Because she was like, "Who is that?" Like after, like we passed by, and they said, "Hey, Rutledge." Like, "Oh, it was Rutledge Wood." She had no clue. She doesn't watch NASCAR religiously like I do. I should have tricked her. Should have been like, "That was Dale Jr." No, okay. But what? That was Jeff Gordon. I just called him Rutledge. That's his nickname. Do I remember Danny Patrick? I'm not that old. Or that young, I guess. She just retired a few years ago. 2018 was her last race. Still sitting caution free. Tires are wearing out on Bobby Hamilton Sr. It is interesting, though, if we do get a caution, if anybody's going to pit. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation for Bobby Hamilton. I feel like if he pits, everybody's going to stay out. And if he stays out, everybody may pit, considering how much tire wear there is at Darlington. So he definitely wants us to stay green for not only that reason, but also the reason that he does have a 10-second lead. He's not going to get ran down. He's had the fastest truck for at least the second race in a row. And he did win at Watkins Glen, but he didn't lead a lot of laps. He also led and won at Atlanta, but again, he didn't lead a lot of laps in that race. He probably didn't have the fastest truck. Bill Lester definitely had the fastest truck at Atlanta. Dominated that one. Watkins Glen, it was kind of hit or miss. I think Hamilton had a top 3 truck, but I don't I don't know if he quite had the fastest that day. Getting the job done nonetheless is the reason why he has rallied himself in the point standings after that rough start at Daytona. Very quick bounce back and rebound. Bill Lester was a real driver, yes. I forget how many races he won in the truck series. I know he did win some truck races, though. He might have won in the Busch series. I'm not entirely sure. I know he made some starts in the Cup series, but he never raced full time in the Cup series. He raced for Bill Davis Racing in the trucks. John Wood in the 50 truck. Last truck on the lead lap right now, right in front of Bobby Hamilton. Coming to 30 laps to go, this time by Hamilton to the inside of Wood in the middle of 3 and 4. And they're still side by side back to the start-finish line. Hamilton going to drive it in deep. Just slide up the racetrack. And he clears John Wood. Beautifully placed slide job. Just sent it off into the corner, and he was able to pull clear of the 50. Planning on becoming an iRacer soon. Well, good luck with that. Heard it's a lot of fun from listening to people's stories of it or watching people. I've done iRacing before. Oh man, with just less than 30 laps to go, we have 28 laps to go. We finally got the first spot in the chat tonight. I know we still have another race yet too, but we got so close in this one. So close. Got to meet Jake DeLome. Oh wow. I did well. Okay, I did meet Bushwhacker Luke also. If you're familiar with him, if you're a wrestling fan, he was also at the same indie wrestling show I saw Mick Foley, and I actually got to talk to him a lot longer. I was kind of bummed out in a way, or it's kind of like sad seeing him over at his table, and there was like nobody over by him because everybody was in line to see Mick Foley, and we got there early enough that we saw Mick Foley, and then there was just this giant line where Foley was at because they opened the doors a little bit late. There was a snowstorm that day, and we got to talk to Bushwhacker Luke for like 5+ minutes. There was nobody else over there. So that was pretty cool. I guess I don't know how I forgot about him, but he is a WWE Hall of Famer, so I think he counts. I have to talk to 2 Hall of Famers that day. Well, there we go. Now we got another. Gosh darn it. Why do I open my mouth sometimes? We got another bot. Another one. Down in the chat. Tight squeeze there in turns 3 and 4. Hamilton making the pass. Great lover faces. Hamilton looks like he's clear into turns 1 and 2. And now those lap trucks are side by side behind him, battling to potentially get back in the lead lap. Do I like The Simpsons? I used to watch it. I don't watch it anymore. I've seen the classic episodes at least. The old ones are really they're actually pretty funny. You have to kind of be into that kind of humor though too. To have an appreciation for a cartoon like The Simpsons. 20 laps to go this time by. Bobby Hamilton Sr. continues the lead at the Darlington Raceway. We may have our first caution-free race of the season. We had about 4 or 5 of them in the last Truck Series season. I do remember Darlington was caution-free in the Cup Series, the first race we went there. There's something about this racetrack. Tend to go caution-free pretty often. We nearly went caution-free in the Southern 500. We didn't have our first yellow until about 30 laps to go in that race too. So for whatever reason in this game, the AI doesn't really seem to wreck hardly at all at Darlington. Thanks for that, Patrick. Yes, we need to ban it. 11.3 second lead for Bobby Hamilton. He has led every lap from the pole in this one, nonetheless, on top of the fact that it's caution-free. And that's even cycling through the first set of stops because he was one of the last trucks to pit. At lap 80, let's see your quarterback idol when you were 10. Steve Young. Oh wow, that's a big name right there. That's pretty cool. Talk about a Hall of Famer. Multi-time Super Bowl champ. I almost got to meet Austin Dillon and Richard Childress on a golf course when I was at Kentucky Speedway in 2018. I went golfing at a course like 10 minutes away from the track. It was a night race. So we went, or I went golfing. A buddy of mine went with me at the time, and he didn't golf, but I did. We were in a cart. We walked into the clubhouse, and the lady at the clubhouse was like, "Oh yeah, Austin Dillon and Richard Childress were just here," because she asked if we were down here for the race because I had my NASCAR stuff on, Blaney hat, Blaney shirt, and I was like, "Yep, we're here for the race." And she said that they were just here and they left like 10 minutes before we got there. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" We got there just a little bit too late. Essentially, if we didn't go out to eat, we might have been able to see it, but we wanted to eat someplace before we went to the golf course so we could try to save some time. We would have just like grabbed something at the golf course for lunch instead. Hindsight's 2020. We probably could have ran into those guys. And the people I ended up playing golf with, they claimed that they had actually finished out with them because they were going to let him through, and then he wasn't that good. And he watches NASCAR. He wasn't there for the race. They were there for like some fishing tournament or something that was supposed to be the next morning because they were from Indianapolis and they were going to play a round of golf the day before. So he was there with his wife, and but they knew who they were when they let him through or whatever. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, hey Austin, how's it going?" And then because they were on the last hole, they just finished out with him. They just finished the last hole with Austin Dillon and Richard Childress. because we only played 9, or I only played 9 holes that day. So I played on the back 9. They were just finishing the front 9. So that tells me Austin Dillon and Richard Childers only played 9 holes, and they were there too. If they would have played 18, probably could have gotten to see them also. Oh well. Oh, the SpongeBob's a classic, man. Probably seen every episode for the first few seasons. It's been a long time. You never forget classic SpongeBob episodes. Austin Dillon hero card. The only hero cards I have are from the Thor Sport guys. I never really got into collecting hero cards. The only reason I have them is actually some lady at my dad's work. Her husband works for them. I don't remember what he does. But anyway, he works for Thor Sport, and they're out of Sandusky, Ohio, which is like 50 minutes from where I live. They had a party, a championship party with Ben Rhodes winning the championship this year. So she got me some signed hero cards that I have. I don't think I've showed them off in the stream because I literally just got them a couple weeks. It was like 2 weeks before Christmas when the party was going on, and I guess it was an open house. I could have went, but I had to work that day, so I wasn't gonna get up there in time. So I just came home and streamed instead. Those are the only ones I got. Eight laps to go here at the Darlington Raceway. Chad Chafin is the next lap truck in front of Bobby Hamilton, those two being teammates. Chafin's best finish was 3rd at Atlanta just a couple races ago. Chafin running the outside through 1 and 2. Hamilton looking underneath him, trying to put his teammate a lap down. Looking to remain caution-free. Hank Grigsby in the 153 truck now, just in front of Bobby Hamilton. Hamilton to the inside of Grigsby. That right front tire just went down into the red. Oh, Grigsby pops off the wall, off the exit of turn 4, and after he hit the wall, he ricocheted into the 4 truck of Hamilton, who got sideways off the exit of turn 4, was able to hang on to his truck. We just about saw our first caution of the race, and it nearly involved the race leader. Quarter tank of fuel left. The right front is in the red, but they should make it to the end. Kind of a sketchy moment. 5 laps to go now for Hamilton. Oh, geez, I was looking at the chat. Just creamed the wall. That was like middle of the backstretch. Grigsby trying to block Chafin, still 4 laps to go. Hamilton just needs to get to the end here. Last thing we need is a caution, or he beats this truck up too much. Especially with the right front tire in the red. Hits the wall hard enough, he may risk blowing that tire. It's only the 3rd time he's hit the wall today. Still hasn't hit it in turns 1 and 2. And for 145 laps so far at Darlington, that is pretty impressive. Far away from the wall, down to the bottom in turns 1 and 2. Nearly a 13-second lead for Bobby Hamilton Sr. Still running lap times in the 27.8s. A couple tenths off from his fastest lap of the race, which was during this current fuel stint of a 27.684. 2 laps to go at the line. No cautions come out the final lap. There is one attempt at a green-white checker if a yellow were to come out before Hamilton gets to the white flag. And now into 3 and 4 for Hamilton. Slides up the track a bit. Struggling for grip on these older tires, coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go for Bobby Hamilton, and it is about to be a 4-race win streak, and by far his most dominant race this season. Qualified on the pole for the first time this year, and he will go wire to wire, leading every lap, all 200 miles, all 147 laps in race 1 of our doubleheader tonight. He absolutely earned this one. Checkered flag waves off of turn 4 at the Lady in Black. That is conquered by Bobby Hamilton Sr. Big time win for Bobby Hamilton. 4th consecutive victory, dominating the early going of this Truck Series season. And our first caution-free race of the year as well, as Michael stated down in the chat below. What a way to start off tonight's action. An epic burn down on the front stretch. Burnout of the year so far for Hamilton of the first 4. Too bad the smoke disappears in the background. I wish it would have stayed up, because that was a smoke show right there. I guess all the winning he's done early in the season, he's getting a lot of practice in for these burnouts. Take a look at your top finishers in today's race. Only 1 hour and 8 minutes with this race going caution-free. Hamilton dominated with 174.72 mile an hour average race pace, race speed. That was fast. Nobody else got 5 bonus points as well, so that's going to help Hamilton in the point standings early on in the year as well. Carl Edwards ends up finishing in 2nd. That is now the 4th straight top 5 for Carl Edwards. So outside of Daytona, Edwards has finished in the top 5 in every other race after that. Ryan Carter finishes in 3rd. Travis Quaffle 4th. Casey Cook, our Daytona winner, rounds out the top 5. Brandon Witt finishes in 6th. Troy Perry 7th. Jack Sprague 8th. Aaron McGee 9th. And Matt Crafton rounds out the top 10. And only 11 trucks finished on the lead lap. Again, margin of victory, 12.9 seconds. And we had a few engine failures in this race, 3 of them to be exact. Bill Lester, we saw blow an engine there late with about 41 to go. Jake Bradley at lap 65. And Jack Baker at lap 16 also blew an engine. So that will end race 1 of our doubleheader tonight. Race 2 will be the MBNA of America 200 at the Dover International Raceway. And that will be coming up at the bottom of the hour at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in for Race 1. Again, like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I'll see you guys in about 15 minutes. Hopefully, we get another great race.